I heard you guys, Jake, talking about Saturday. I'll start with your free kick. Talk me through it from your point of view.
Just thought, why not have a hit, really? There was three of us standing around it, me, Jim O'Brien and Doyler, and we were sort of trying to figure out what to do. It's an awkward position to try and cross it, especially if you're trying to stand it up at the back stick. It very easily mess it up. So Doyler just said, just have a crack, and I went, yeah, all right, fair enough. So that was it, really. I just thought I'll have a go, and there you go. Luckily enough, it flew in.
I'm intrigued how much conversation goes in those ones. You all probably want to take it. I mean, sometimes those arguments go on a bit for ages. They say, I want it, or do you want it?
No, I think it was the opposite. None of us wanted it because we found it quite an awkward one. Normally, as I said, we normally stand them up at the back stick or something like that. And Jim come over and said, just have a shot. And then Doyler was like, yeah, have a shot. And I was like, Doyler, this is more like a lefty, try and dink it to the back post. And he went, no, just you do it. I was like, all right, fair enough. So luckily enough, there was no argument this time.
Is it something you practice much on the training ground?
No, I'd love to say I do, but no, not really. I must admit, it was probably nicer that it flew in, the fact that I don't practice them, actually.
Wonderful. And your assist as well, you've just been mentioning it went overlooked, but you must have been happy with that one too.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest, I was literally just admitting that I didn't kind of know that he was exactly there. I was slightly ahead of it, and I just knew we should have players in and around that area, so it was more just a put it in an area for the lad.
A lot been spoken recently about not getting enough goals output, especially from different areas of the pitch. Have you felt that pressure to have to perform to change that stat?
Not particularly. I think it's probably been well documented before that me particularly, I've not really been brought in to do that particular role for the team anyway. Obviously, it's nice if you can chip in and obviously help out. That does obviously relieve pressure elsewhere. So maybe if you ask maybe a more attacking advanced player, they might feel that pressure a little bit more. So I can't really comment too much on that. I just try and do the job I can, and if there's opportunities for me to shoot and stuff, then obviously I'll have a crack anyway. What
about the team performance? It was pretty decent by all accounts. Were you happy with the display on Saturday?
Yeah. Overall, Yeovil are. We knew, like most teams, that everyone comes and they always make it difficult. And we spoke a lot about earning the right. I know the gaffer's mentioned in a couple of interviews lately, and that basically just means, look, we're not going to change the way we're playing, but especially from the start and early on, you need to stand up and you need to fight and you need to win the ball and you need to push them back a little bit instead of inviting them onto us in certain games that we have done in previous games. And I think overall, we can be extremely happy with it, and we showed another side to us as well as also at times getting the ball down, which was quite pleasing. So hopefully we can take that into Tuesday and then hopefully kick on.
It's very interesting you talk about not changing the way you're playing. I hesitate before saying bad run because since the turn of the year it's been overall a decent run, but you just started to slip away from the top teams and look over your shoulder. But is it a lot about belief in what you were doing and that you are doing the right thing as a team?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, you don't just all of a sudden turn into a bad team overnight, do you? And every team in this league, not even just this league, in every league, always has a period where what you were doing and what was working will eventually not be working as well as what you'd hope. And it's just about tweaking those little differences and getting over that barrier quicker rather than later. And I think that's what we're doing.
Normally in mid-March, probably wouldn't say this, but double digits behind the league leaders. If you're normally in mid-March, it would probably be a tall order, but you've got so many games to play. Does the dressing room still think you can chase down those teams above you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for people to be asking those questions and sort of commenting and questioning us and our belief, that's for other people to do. As you've just said, if it was in a normal circumstance, then you'd probably be saying, try and get as close to them as possible. But obviously, there's so many games left. It's obviously quite unprecedented what's happening at the minute. But within 2 weeks, the whole picture can look very different. After a couple of results, the whole picture can look very different. So we're just going to keep ticking along and hopefully, just be putting some runs together.
Just wonder how you're feeling about playing Yeovil again. Is there any difference that it could be any other team? Sometimes some niggles are left over from the previous game, and Yeovil will certainly have a point to prove. Just wonder how you're feeling about playing a team so soon.
I've never had to do it before. It is quite odd. I mean, it was more odd at the end of the game when they were saying all the best for the rest of the season, and I think Jim O'Brien just shouted out, "We'll see you Tuesday." So that's obviously a little bit different. So I think it'll be slightly odd, yeah, because normally you have a very, very long period where you haven't played them, you haven't seen them, and you start looking at different things and you know what they're doing for the last few games. And obviously we're literally their last game, so it'd be very different.
Yeah, less homework for you all, I guess.
Equally, that could also probably bring problems, but who knows? So we'll find out.
Brilliant, thank you.
Nice one.
Hi, Jake.
Hi, mate.
Hope you're well. Just a reflection on the game on Saturday. How crucial and what did that do for confidence?
It was massive. It obviously didn't matter that it was just that game. Is every game that we're going into. Obviously, we want to try and play that sort of way, and try and, like I just previously said in another interview, that you try and earn the right before you start playing. Try and get a team on the back foot, and obviously getting a win and and getting a clean sheet as well was massive. So yeah, it'll be very big for the confidence of the squad.
There's been a fair degree of criticism on social media. I know you're not on social media, are you? On Twitter?
Well, thankfully no, because I didn't know that. But
have the squad been surprised by some of the criticisms levelled at them, given if you look at the form since the turn of the year and how impressive it's been?
Probably not. Like, I know you just said I'm not on social media, but I think we've all been in the game long enough. Even the young lads, they know what social media is like, and things can change very quickly. You can go from being the best team in the world to literally the next game being the worst. So, it's not nice, obviously, the boys that are on there that are witnessing it and seeing it and hearing it. But you just need to do your job and be professional, and people are allowed their opinions, and you just got to turn up and do what you're doing. So I don't think there'll be any surprise, no.
How would you assess your own form of late?
Probably similar to how we've been. A little bit sticky. Games have not been as free flowing, and it's been a little bit more difficult. But that is what it is. It also allows you to show a different side of your game, which is obviously the rigours and the toughness of playing against men and winning second balls and trying to win your headers and your battles and tracking runners, etc., etc. So that football's not just a one size fits all. It's not everyone has to play this way, and it's nice to be able to show everyone and anyone involved in football will obviously understand that there's different ways of playing, and sometimes you have to do both.
Talk us through the free kick on Saturday. I know you've been asked about this at all, but is it something you've got in your locker, clearly, because you've hit quite a few spectacular long range strikes since you've been here?
Yeah, I've seen to have found it in the locker somewhere. Yeah, we were saying before, it was an awkward position to try and cross from. It's very, very straight, and it's very difficult. It can easily go straight into the keeper's hands, and then you feel like you've wasted an opportunity. And we just felt, well, why not? I'm pretty confident when it comes to trying to shoot from sort of different angles and stuff. So I just thought, yeah, why not? I'll have a crack. And luckily enough, I managed to hit the right one.
And is that something that you will do more often?
No, I don't want to tell the other goalkeepers. I think I'll still signal the back post, and then we'll see.
And in terms of the game tomorrow night against Yeovil, obviously you played them on Saturday. Does the victory give you a slight advantage going into the game on Tuesday night?
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. But then equally, they've lost, and they've obviously got something to really grind out. And so I think no matter how you look at it, you could argue both ways that it could be a positive or a negative. The main thing for us is that we're professional in how we go about our jobs, and obviously knowing that, look, we've got the upper hand. We've obviously just beat you 2-0. We can't let those standards slip. So literally the bare minimum is exactly what you got from Saturday. That's what we have to bring again.
What have the managers sort of said to you about this, like, inverted commas, tricky spell? What has he sort of done on the training pitch?
Quite similar to what I said. Obviously, it's been well documented. We've all had conversations ourselves, management, players included, and that's just purely based on all of us wanting to get to the end goal and how we're going to get there. And as I previously said, in an interview, it's not necessarily, as you inverted commas, tricky spell. It's you're not going to play well every week. You're not going to dominate the ball every week, especially if that is your style of play. If you're only kicking long and you're only winning second balls from the very first game to the last, it's very easy to just continue that. So when things go a little bit, as you said, tricky, it's just like what I said. There's no right or wrong way to play a game of football. All it is about is winning the game of football. And sometimes you have to win second balls. You have to play forward a little bit more. Pitches have obviously got a little bit sticky and a little bit more bobbly, which obviously makes it difficult for passing teams. But there's no excuses, because, as I said, there's many ways and forms of winning a football match. So it's all been about conversations, being honest with each other. Obviously, players taking it on board and bringing their A game on a Saturday or a Tuesday.
Lovely, thank you, mate.
Nice one.
Hi there, Jake. How are you doing?
Hi, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you, mate. Good. Just a few follow-ups from me, really. You mentioned there, of course, it's been well documented that the team, the squad, the staff have all had those conversations to try and address some of the the run and the form that you guys had been on. How did you find those conversations?
It's difficult. I've been in the game a long time, and you have them, and sometimes they work. You have them, sometimes they don't. Sometimes players can get their back up about things and stuff like that. But ultimately, we're all luckily enough, we're all in the same boat, and we all want to get to the exact same goal, which is obviously, as everyone knows, is promotion and get this massive club back to the Football League. So for me personally, I think the conversations went well. I think since those conversations, I think it's shown during the games, it's not going to change exactly overnight. You have to win games of football to build that back and build some confidence, and I feel like the last 3 games have been a plus point from those conversations.
Yeah, like you say, from those 3 games, 7 points from 9. Do you sense that since those, the tide is starting to turn a little bit in your favour now?
Yeah, but as you said, the stats don't lie when you do it like that, and it's 7 out of 9. I mean, that's the kind of form that you need to take into. Still got loads of games. It's loads of games of football, and obviously, if we can keep to those similar numbers, then we should be close.
And like you say, with so much football still to play between now and the end of the season, and it seems as though Notts have had their bad spell, and like you say, it seems that every team throughout the season will have theirs. Is it encouraging that you've come through that bad spell now and you're still within touching distance of the top few teams?
Yeah, massively. As I said before, it's every team, every club will have a period. It just depends on how long that period goes on for. That's when you learn a lot about your squad and you learn a lot about your players. And the fact that I feel like we've kind of maybe turned that corner and can hopefully progress again tomorrow night, and then hopefully give us even more confidence to go into the game on Saturday. So yeah, no, it's positive, and like I said, I think Gaffer's learned some positives about the squad.
As we've said as well, there's so many games to be played in such a short space of time, and it's been that way for quite a while. I'm just interested, as a player, how have you found that schedule on a personal level?
Fine, to be honest. Body-wise, fine. You do the right things during the week, and obviously Gaffer gives you the right time and the right amount of rest time and stuff like that during the week. Obviously, your training loads are completely different from a normal season. But it's just about adapting, and the best teams that are doing it and adapting to it obviously will help them in the long run.
Without meaning to sound like an obvious question, but how is it different to a normal season? It's just a case of a lot more recovery.
It's just purely on how many days you have before another game. Whereas normally you might have a busy period around Christmas where you'll play Saturday, Tuesday, but then it will die off to a Saturday, which obviously then gives you a lot more training time on the pitch, gives you a lot more time to freshen the squad, it gives you time to rest if players need rest. And obviously at the minute there is no respite because you go Saturday, Tuesday all the way up basically. And obviously around Easter it gets even busier. So your days to rest after having a game is completely different. Like I said, for me personally, I quite enjoy it because it's always nice to have a game straight away and get going again and then get going again. So I've enjoyed it.
That's good. Would you much rather be someone like out there playing games instead of like having a long periods between?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. You never want to dwell on what you've done before. You just want to keep going, and you want to, obviously, more games to play. Then we're getting closer to finding out where we're going to be.
Sure, and like you mentioned, you've not been in this position before where you're playing a team in such a short space of time, like twice in 4 days, I think it is.
Yeah.
How are you expecting this game on Tuesday to be different to the game that you faced on Meadow Lane on Saturday?
I think it'll probably start quite similar. It'll probably be quite energetic and quite frantic, and people fighting for second balls, them trying to put it in behind us trying to equally try and gain some territory and get the ball down a little bit. But obviously they've lost 2-0 away from home and we're going to their patch. So I'm expecting it to be just as hard. It was hard the other night as well. I mean, obviously I hit a free kick and Jordan scored a great goal, and there were our 2 goals. It wasn't like it was easy. So I'm expecting another tough game.
And if you guys do get a win, of course it'd be 10 out of 12. What would that do for morale for yourself and the players among the camp?
Yeah, massively. The morale in the team and everything like that in the squad is fine. It's completely fine. I mean, obviously people are saying there's a lot of talk, a bit of negativity and a bit of criticism about the squad, but in-house, for us, we're not, well, for me particularly, I don't really look at that anyway. Like I said, there's so many games left, it's impossible to know. It's, you can't batter us right now, if at the end of the season we're not up to it, and then obviously everyone will have their opinion, but we're all good, we're all having a laugh and we're enjoying it and we're looking forward to the challenge ahead.